it's Missy, and today I am finally here to share with you guys my April TBR. Now today is the 12th of April and I am very late on giving you guys my TBR from the 1st through I believe the 5th. I think it's the 5th. My family and I went camping up in Lagunitas, I think that's how you say it, Lagunitas, which is in like San Rafael area, which is about an hour and a half or so away from San Francisco, and it was so much fun. Now, there are good sides to camping and then there are the bad sides. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen a few pictures that I took of our hiking and, you know, just pretty shots of like the beach or, you know, trees or whatever. But then there's the hidden underside of camping with children. So let me just share with you guys, and this is like a whole mom rant. So if you want to skip this, I will leave you know, the numbers, the timestamp down in the info box below, so you can just skip it and go straight to the TBR. But if you're a parent, then maybe you'll be able to understand where I'm coming from. So we leave Saturday, April 1st, and we head up to San Francisco, and we're going to get a hotel so that way we can have a really good night's sleep before we go camping. On the way up to San Francisco, which we live in San Diego, so that's about, you know, a good 7 to 8 hour drive, depending on how many times we have to stop for the children. My youngest has a nosebleed in the car. And not just a little, you know, nosebleed. It's like a gargantuan nosebleed. Just faucet. And it's all over his shirt. And I'm in the front seat, and the car is like packed full of camping gear. So it's not like I can climb back into the back seat and like help him pinch his nose because he's horrible at it. And he's not even holding his nose back. Like he's like tilting it forward and there's just more blood. My husband had to pull over and I had to like get out and, you know, do all that, clean him up, which was such a pain in the stinking butt. So I'm like, okay, we have christened the trip. That should be the last time something terrible has happened, which is always a bad thing to say. So we get up to about LA area, and then there's non-stop traffic for the next like 3 hours. Like there's construction going on the freeway, and there's just backed up traffic, and it just took so long. So we were supposed to check in at our hotel at 3 o'clock, and we started at 8 from our house. So that would have been perfect timing. No, we didn't get there until about 5:30. And when I got to the hotel, I realized I didn't bring any of our pillows from home. Now, that is one luxury I do enjoy when I go camping, is just to have a pillow along with my sleeping bag, because my neck would get cramped up and then I would just be miserable. So I forgot all of the pillows, and we had to go to Walmart and buy some really cheap pillows, which just irritates me because I hate getting somewhere and then having to buy stuff that I forgot. And I always forget at least one item every time I go camping or traveling or what have you. I always forget one thing. So the night's sleep was amazing. Then we get to the park the next day and we set up, and we realized that the campsite that we chose, from the little like drawing on the website, it seemed like it was going to be like this big area, but it was so tiny. And I mean, we made do, it was okay, but we were worried that it was just going to be awful, and I guess it wasn't, it was fine. But then my son started having like a coughing fit. So Sunday, we went on a tiny hike and he was coughing, but we were kind of ignoring it. And then Monday night, we go on another hike and he has this huge nosebleed in the tent. And I'm thinking, oh my God, we're never going to end with these damn nosebleeds. He won't stop picking his nose. And boys are gross. I mean, girls do it too, but just keep your fingers out of your nose. So nosebleed. Tuesday night, another nosebleed, and then he coughs so hard he pukes in the tent, and I'm just like, I'm losing it. I am literally losing it. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I'm the only one who's getting up. My husband's trying to sleep. My other child is like completely conked out from walking 10 miles. And my kids are glorious hikers. I mean, they hike, and 10 miles is a lot. So I was very surprised. But back to the whole tent thing. My husband just couldn't handle it anymore. So Wednesday, we were supposed to stay one more night because Thursday and Friday it was going to have thunderstorms. And technically, we're supposed to stay camping until Friday, but we had to leave early because my son wouldn't stop being gross and thunderstorms were coming. So that was a real bummer. So we had to come home, and I had to take him to the doctors and make sure he was fine. And then he wouldn't take his medicine. He kept throwing it up because, you know, it tastes gross, which... why do doctors make anything cherry? It doesn't taste like cherry. If it tasted like cherry, like Starburst, that would be one thing. But it's always like cherry, dirt, retching vomit cherry. Like, nobody likes that flavored cherry. And so he wouldn't keep it down. It was making me irritated. And then I got sick. And then he gave me whatever he had. So my husband and I have been sick Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I took Tuesday off, yesterday off because I was sick. And as you can tell, I'm just now getting over it. So, yeah, my spring break kind of sucked. I mean, it was fun while we were hiking and doing all the camping stuff, but then nighttime rolled around, and then my son was being gross, and yeah. Anywho, on to the TBR. Thanks for letting me rant. As a parent, and I mean, I do go to work and I'm with teachers and I get to rant with them, but it's always nice to speak to adults about stuff because I usually end up just speaking to children all day long, and I need adult conversation because then I go cuckoo if I don't. So, yes, the TBR. Now, because I was gone for the first week of April, I didn't do the readathon, which I usually try to participate every single month. And this readathon, which was the third, was it third? Yeah. 3rd through the 9th, it was classics. And if you wanted to try the challenge, it was to read books by the same author in the same color. So, for example, can you kind of see? Nope, that's not even in the picture. Well, maybe this one? Nope, that's not in the picture either. Anyways, you can't see it. Maybe I can. There we go. Here's Beautiful Darkness by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. All of the books in their series is black, but the writing is a different color. So that would have been the challenge, to read books by the same author where the cover is like the same color. So even if you had like Sarah J. Maas's, what is it called? Where are they? The Throne of Glass series, how the entire series is white, you could have used that as the challenge. But I didn't participate, and I didn't even read once while I was on vacation or, you know, camping. So we're just going to skip that. The next readathon that's going on right now is Tome Topple, and it actually started last week's Friday, which was the 7th, and it goes until the 20th, which I don't know what day that is. Today is the 12th, so it's almost over, but there are a few challenges in this readathon, and who knows how much I'm going to get. I just, you know, added 2 fat books into my TBR pile, so hopefully I can, you know, participate. The first challenge is to read more than 1 tome. So I do have 2 books here that I would like to get to. The next challenge is to read a graphic novel. A lot of people in their TBRs, they were showing like Blankets by Craig Thompson, or yeah, I think it's Thompson, as a graphic novel that is really big. I think another one is Sculptor. I don't own that graphic novel anymore. I gave it away, but that one was pretty long. I don't remember if it's 500, maybe it was like 4 something, but that one's a good one. I didn't like Blankets, so I wouldn't recommend reading that one, but the Sculptor one was really good. And that's by Scott McCloud if you're interested. Here's a picture if you want one of those. The next challenge is to read a tome that is part of a series. So I have Death Watch here, and this I chose to read. I don't know if I put this on my TBR last month. I might have, but I do know that I wanted to read this because it did sound interesting when I did my first series of the hook and read. So I definitely want to read this. This is a trilogy by Ari Burke, and this one is 500, how many pages is it? There's a Q&A, so I always get confused. This one is 523 pages, so it totally fits the criteria of a tome. The next one is to buddy read a tome. I don't have a buddy read for a very long book. I do have a few buddy reads this month, but I guess that wouldn't count. And the last one is to read an adult tome. Again, I don't have an adult book that I want to read at this moment in time, but I do have special topics in Calamity Physics, and this is the first book written by Marisha Pessl. She's the author of Night Film. I read Night Film a few years ago and absolutely loved it. It was one of my top 5 of 2015, I think, or maybe it was 2014. I can't remember. I really loved that book, and that was adult, but this one's actually YA. It's a coming-of-age story, so it's, I think it's like high school into college years, or maybe it's just the end of high school. The cool thing about this book, and I talked about this book a few months ago. I wanted to read it before, but all of the, let me find a, there's drawings in here. There's like illustrations in here. And then every chapter, if I can find one. Maybe it's not. I thought every chapter was a book title. Maybe it's only sometimes, because that one didn't sound familiar. Woman in Love? No. Anywho, it has to do with school, so that sounded interesting. This one is 503 or 4. Oh, 514 pages, so it totally fits the criteria as well. So these are the 2 books that I would like to finish before the 20th, and if not, I want to continue reading them this month. And the last readathon that I know of is the Dewey's 24-hour readathon. Now that one actually doesn't take place until April 29th, but the Goodreads group is doing 3 mini readathons up until then to get ready for the readathon. And on the 8th of April, which I believe was just this Saturday, because I did participate in it, that readathon was to read for 2 or more hours within that 24-hour period. So Saturday I did start on In a Dark, Dark Wood, and I read, I think for an hour, and then I picked up Bad Unicorn and I read for another hour. I'm not that far in either book, but I did start these. I didn't start this one. This one I've been continuing to read. But I did start In a Dark, Dark Wood on Saturday, and I am enjoying it. And then Bad Unicorn is super funny, and I'll talk about that more later. And then from the 10th through the 16th, so this was, today's the 12th, so Monday, from Monday until the 16th, which I guess is Sunday, it's to attempt to read for a total of 24 hours in the entire week. So today's Wednesday, so I would have to count, I think it's like 3.5 hours a day to equal 24 hours if you wanted to break it up that way. But we'll see. I'm going to try and read for a good like 5 hours today later on, because I haven't read very much in the past couple months. So I do want to sit down and do a good chunk of reading. But yeah, it ends, and you just need to make sure that you've read for 24 hours in total in a whole week. And then the last mini readathon is April 22nd, and again that is for 2 or more hours within that 24-hour period. So just if you can sit down and read for 2 hours on Saturday, that would be great. And that's, you know, you just sign up on their participation board, and then you can win like a gift card to a bookstore. I'm not sure which bookstore it is. I usually don't participate in those kinds of things because, you know, I'd rather have somebody else win a prize. But I do want to participate just for the reading aspect. But those are all of the readathons that I know of that are happening in April. So let me talk about the other books that I am planning on reading. So I am still currently reading Gerald's Game. I am on page 229. I actually listened to, oh no I didn't. Nope. I went to work early today, so I didn't get to read it all today. So I'm at 51%, and this book is rather, I don't want to say slow. It's not slow. It's just very different because it's pretty much one of those books where it takes place like all in the same day. So far, anyway. It's still the same day where our main character is in this cabin. But then there's a lot of flashbacks to her childhood, which breaks up the monotony of her just being in the same place for a whole day. It is very interesting, though, and this is only the second novel that I've read from Stephen King that has a female protagonist. The first one was Carrie, and now this one. So Jessie is our main character. What's her last name? I forgot. Mahout or something. I don't see it on here. Is it on the front? Oh, this is a paperback. It's not going to say. Anyways, Jessie's our main character, and I love how Stephen King writes in a female voice. It's pretty realistic, and it's also very dated. It sounds kind of funny because I'm listening to this on audio because of the audio along that I'm doing for 2017. And it does sound very dated, but it's really fun to read, and I'm enjoying it so far. It had a very small Lolita feel towards the middle, and I was getting worried because I've read Lolita, and so anyways, yeah, I am enjoying this one. Next, I want to read The Girl in the Clockwork Collar by Katie Cross. This is the second book in her Steampunk Chronicles. And the first one, if I can remember, I think it was The Girl in the Steel Corset? No. Yeah, I think it's The Girl in the Steel Corset. But it's basically a retelling of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but with his daughter. And I really, really enjoyed the first book, and I read really quickly. And I've had this sitting in my library bag for, I want to say, 3 months. And I need to return it to the library. And so I really need to get on it. And this is also part of my 52 books around the year in 52 books. So I want to read this ASAP. So that's on my list. And then you already saw Bad Unicorn. This is by Palette F. Clark. I didn't know, but this is a this is a middle grade book, and I had my son read a little bit of it, and he absolutely loves it. So I ended up buying books 2 and 3 from Book Outlet, which you guys will be seeing soon. But yeah, I absolutely love this book. If you like middle grade, but silly middle grade, and with, you know, fantasy, then I would definitely pick this book up. I'm currently on chapter 7, which is page 78, so I'm not that far in, but it's just, I mean, it's so good. I don't even know what to compare it to. I'll have to wait and see. It's just so silly, though, and it's about, like, this unicorn princess who likes to eat humans and destroy things. It's really funny. Alright, and then I have In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. I just purchased this from Book Outlet last month, I believe, and I am buddy reading this with my friend Keely over at A Bibliophile's Journey. Please make sure you check out her link down below. She is amazing. She reads a ton of stuff, lots of nonfiction, lots of indie books, horror thrillers. She loves what I read. I have purchased many, many books because of her, and she just does not get enough love. Yeah, so definitely check out Keely's channel. But we are reading In a Dark, Dark Wood, and I am on page 99, so I'm on chapter 12, and it's about a hen party, which is like a bachelorette party, but this is taking place in the UK, and one of the members of the hen party, which is our main character, doesn't understand why she was invited, especially since the girl who is the bride, gosh, speaking is really hard. They haven't been like close in 10 years. They used to be like super best friends since they were 5 until they were 16. And then our main character just kind of like ditched and then didn't talk to her ever again for the next 10 years. So she's very worried on why she was invited to this party. And as you can see, someone gets murdered, and that's on the cover, so that's something to look forward to. I want to know who got killed and why. Next on my list is Silence by Michelle Segarra. Now this was on my TBR last month. I am still very interested in reading it, and I didn't pick it up at all last month. So I'm going to try and read a few chapters and see if it's something that I want to continue this month, or if I want to just put it back on the shelf and pick it up at a later time. But this is book 1 of the Queen of the Dead, and so it seems like it's right up my alley. So I definitely want to try to get to this book this month. And then I also have The Magicians by Liv Grossman. I haven't picked it up since I last talked about it in my wrap-up video. I still want to try and finish it. I mean, I'm almost done. I only have, what page am I on? Oh, that's right. This book doesn't have any page. Oh, no, it does. Whew, I got scared. I'm on page 225, and there are like 400 pages. So I'm only about 175 pages shy of finishing it, so I don't know what my deal is. And the last book that I am going to be reading, ooh, I was all blurry. The last book that I'm going to be reading in the month of April is The Labyrinth, The Ultimate Visual History. Now I'm buddy reading this with Alex and Puppet. Alex and the Puppet. Sorry, Alex. Can't remember what your channel name is, but I will leave her link down below. Her and I both have this book. Well, we all know that I have this book because I'm holding it, but she also had this book. And she started without me, which is totally fine, but I do want to try and catch up tonight. And they're so, all of the pictures are beautiful, and there's all these little extra bits that are just hanging out in the book that I cannot wait to look at. And so this is my 5-hour chunk. I think I'm just going to like hang out and like flip through this for the rest of the evening because I love Labyrinth, and that's it. It seems like a lot. So these are all of the books that I plan on trying to get to in the last 2.5, 3 weeks of April. I'm hoping I can get to at least half of them, or at least all of them, read like a little bit of each one. I looked at my Goodreads and it said that I was currently reading 30 books, and that's how I usually do it. Like, I just pick up books and read maybe 25, 50, 75% of the book, and then I put it down. Not because I'm DNFing it, but because I was interested in something else, and then I'm like, crap, I need to finish that book. And all of my books, normally they're all so good, and that's the thing. My eyes are too big for my stomach. I want to read all of the books at once, and that's impossible. Yes, that's it. That was my camping trip. Those are all of the books that I would like to read in April. What are you planning on reading in April? And did you have a spring break? Where did you go? If you didn't have a spring break, where would you like to go if you could go on spring break? Let me know down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!